Well, who's that? The mother of King Tut.
I don't think many people realize there's this type of theater in the downtown
That's
area.
right.
Welcome to Galveston Unscripted.
That is a critical thing for Masonry that we believe in. If you look in the lens, you'll see a red line moving. This has a 3D effect that is absolutely stunning. This was considered to be absolutely top secret. You could trust people with your life and your money because they had proven to you that they knew these. The most exotic and exquisite lodge room in the state of Texas.
You're on video right now. Galveston has no shortage of historic buildings and institutions. Walking on Church Street towards 22nd Street, we are going to explore one of Galveston's institutions that has been around since 1867. You may have driven or walked by this building a million times, but you probably don't know what's inside or what goes on inside this building. We are going to take a tour of the Galveston Scottish Rite, an absolutely wonderful Art Deco building completed in 1929 after the original building burned. I want to thank Roy DeGesro for giving us an amazing tour. We're going to see the library, the lodge room, and the 1929 Vaudeville Theater. Let's dive right into the tour into the 1929 Galveston Scottish Rite. And thanks to our video sponsor, the Daily News, Texas' oldest newspaper, bringing you the news since 1842. Support your local newspaper, the Daily News.
In 1928, the building that stood here burned to the ground. So they rebuilt this, but the vault was intact because it was fireproof and it was smoke-proof, etc. They at least kept some of the records. Really, the building starts in the library.
Oh, the library.
This entire building style is Art Deco. We have something like 1,800 different titles in the library. A lot of it's Masonic literature, but not all of it is Masonic literature. One of the shelves of great interest is our cabinet of curiosities. We have prayer caps. We have things from the different parts of the world that people brought in. We mustn't forget the beautiful sawfish blade.
Look at that.
What it's doing there, I have no idea. The bottom shelf is World War I stuff. I think that's an exploded landmine, but I'm not sure. A German ear protection helmet and a couple rounds of disarmed ammunition and 2 whale vertebrae. Well, who's that? The mother of King Tut. This is a Masonic apron that may be 250 years old or something like that. We do not know. It's like super old. This is the original building. It was called Harmony Hall. It was designed by Nicholas Clayton, and it was the Jewish Cultural Center. The members of Harmony Lodge got together and said, let's form a business entity and we'll make this an entertainment megaplex because we have a lot of charities and things that we need to raise money for. It included a game room, a library in which you could do business or have lunch, a theater, and a ballroom. In 1900, we had the Great Storm, so this was no longer needed. They sold it to the Scottish Rite, which is a branch of Masonry, and it was sold to them so that we would have a place to educate our members by putting on a series of little one-act plays to teach us life lessons. And we do this in a dramatic fashion so that it's more interesting than just sitting there and reading something out of a book. 1928, for some mysterious unknown reason, that building caught on fire. The fire started on the stage. Who did it? We don't know, but their cellulose acetate film and cigarettes don't go together. They hired a man named Alfred Finn. And Alfred Finn was also a Scottish Rite Mason, coincidentally, but he was very well known in this area for designing Art Deco things. Another thing that Alfred Finn did that people still know is the San Jacinto Monument. This was opened in November 1929. Finn was charged with designing something that cannot burn, is hurricane proof, and will not flood. Now we're going to go into possibly the most exotic and exquisite lodge room in the state of Texas.
Now this is sacred in here.
Now, this entire room has a very strong Egypt theme to it because this was built in 1929 and King Tut's tomb was discovered in 1922. The Masons became quite interested in Egyptology and all of that associated theory. They were great Masons. They built a lot of things out of stone. And they also, during King Tut's time, believed in a supreme being. There was a whole hierarchy of supreme beings, but they did believe in a God. And that is a critical thing for Masonry that we believe in. We believe in something higher than us, even though Masonry is not a religion. If you look up around you, you see all these red circles? They would be a cross, or a Star of David in a Jewish temple, or a crescent and star in an Islamic temple. And whatever you want to make. We do not believe in specifically approving or promoting any given religion. So now we're going to go back upstairs on the marble staircase. When they rebuilt the building, they put in these bronze doors. They were cast in Ohio and brought down here. Massive, and they opened like nothing. Very easy to open. They did an Art Deco around that included these stairs in it. He made one little mistake though. He didn't put in a provision for an elevator. And we get lots of exercise. 31 stairs. I recommend you use the handrail.
Marble staircase.
So now we're going into an almost extinct venue. This is a genuine 1929 Vaudeville Theater. They don't exist anymore. And this seats about 360 people.
I've got to say, I don't think many people realize there's this type of theater in the downtown
That's
area,
right, because
No, people don't
it
realize
was
it.
never very well publicized, etc. But if we want to preserve this building for future generations, we have to continue doing more of what we're trying to do now, which is open the building up. Let's have some fun. Let's do some cool stuff in here. Let's make it enjoyable. All of this furniture we use in our different classroom entities or one-act plays for teaching. And this was handmade after the original was burned in the theater by a very skilled Galveston carpenter. So this is all part of what we now use every day. All is 1929. Now we're going to step up on the stage. I'd like to show you a series of 67 hand-painted drops. These drops are combined to make 40 different scenes. We even got a hell scene. They are operated by hauling on lines over here that were rigged by Mark and Sarah Scabinico.
Oh, yes, yes.
Port captain of the Galveston Historic Seaport. This is a 1929 lighting panel that we used to illuminate the scenery with. And a lot of it still works very well. We power up and then we set the lighting intensity to the desired limit. I'm going to be lowering them right down on top of you. I'm going to look at my little cheat sheet here.
Perfect.
And I'm going to do 15, 35, and 53. So you can see how this works.
So here's the cheat sheet to figure out which drop you're going to pull down.
So 15, I'm going to take the brake off and I'm going to pull the rope to bring the drop down in the direction I want it to come down.
Perfect. This is awesome.
And all this is from a 1929 electrical panel.
Ta-da!
This has a 3D effect that is absolutely stunning. You're going at it exactly the right angle. It's like you can just walk into it. These are all hand-painted. They were done by the Great Western Theater Company in Kansas City, Missouri. And these were done in 1929. And there was actually an entire industry built up in the United States to design, create, install, and maintain these hand-painted scenes across the country because vaudeville was the main thing, and there were many, many variations of it. The Scottish Rite had a whole series of contracts and activities with the different vaudeville companies because of the entire industry that was created when the Scottish Rite decided we need theaters to start acting out our teachings, if you will. So we know what we've got and what its worth is and what we have to do to keep it going.
Absolutely.
The idea being to preserve this for posterity down the road. So this is a very simple device. It's called a Psyopticon. And I'm going to wind it like a clock. And you see little propellers trying to turn there.
I do.
And we're going to see what that does. You stay warm. Now here's a lens. And I'm going to shine some light behind that lens. And if you look in the lens, you'll see a red line moving.
Looks like fire.
That's exactly what it is.
Or magma.
it's both of those exactly, very well seen. So what we do is we can project this behind the last drop on the hell scene. And it looks like live flames in hell. What we would do is we'd actually have stagehands here who can manipulate and work all this stuff. It's way too delicate and way too old and way too this and way too that. There's a lot of discussion amongst Masons as to exactly where and when and how, but this grew out of the stonemasons, the people who used to build cathedrals and you name it all over Europe. I could identify myself because I didn't have a passport, I couldn't even read, but I sure knew how to do stonework. I could identify which level of masonry I had attained by being able to do certain signs or symbols or words or explanations of things without using anything more than visual signals. And so you could trust people with your life and your money to build things because they had proven to you that they knew these. And this was considered to be absolutely top secret to be able to identify yourself like that. That was their version of a passport. Interestingly enough, started to attract the attention of the nobility and some of the other businessmen in Europe. And they said, could we maybe be speculative Masons? We won't do any brickwork. We like the organization. We like your guild structure. We like the discipline that you have. And most importantly, the way you help each other. And then people discovered maybe we could improve ourselves, improve our lives, improve our communities through this organization. All these things were part of Masonry in Galveston. That is the Nickel Tour.
Thank you so much, Roy. I appreciate it.
Well, it's my pleasure. And thanks to Becky for making this possible.
Yeah. Thanks, Becky,
So-
for pulling this all together. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
we got our exercise today.
Thanks so much for watching. Go check out the YouTube channel for the entire tour of the building and an hour-long sit-down interview with Roy DeGestero about the Scottish Rite and Masonry in Galveston over the past 150 years. Follow us on social media. We are everywhere. Again, thanks to our video sponsor, The Daily News, and we'll see you next time on Galveston Unscripted. Welcome to Galveston Unscripted.
Did he say you could touch that?
No.